Hello and welcome to a new video on my channel. Now, I'm sorry if you haven't been able to keep up with the consistent uploads a year ago. But we're back, and today we've got some West Ham predictions for their ratings on FIFA 17. So, as you can see, red means that the player was at a different club at the time. Just so you can take that in. It'll make more sense when we're going through the predictions. And blue means they made an extra appearance as a substitution. Again, I'll try and furtherly explain it as we move on into the video, but I hope you'll enjoy this. So then, straight off the bat, we have our goalkeepers. So Adrian, I've decided to upgrade from a 78 to an 80. He's had more clean sheets this season than he did, last season than the season before. So that's obviously one reason for the upgrade. I thought he was underrated anyway. Make sure you cast your eyes over the stats. Then we have Randolph. He, so not last season, but the season before, he was playing for Birmingham. So even though he played a lot more games for them, he wasn't at such a high level. And in my opinion, he's improving. And if anything, I think he could be higher than 74. And then we have Spiegel. Now, he is a youth player. So that's why he doesn't make any, if barely any, first-team appearances. He made one as a substitute last season. But yeah, he mainly plays in youth games, and they're not included. These are just first-team stats. These are the defenders. So we're going to go from left back to centre back to right back, because it's nice. First, you've got our new signing, Masuaku. As I said, it's in red because they didn't play for the club at that point. Now, he used to play for Olympiacos, I think. In my opinion, I've been quite impressed with him this season. Then we got Big Aaron. In my opinion, he's a phenomenally good left back. I think he should play for England, if I'm being totally honest. I'm giving him quite a significant upgrade. I think he deserves that. I think he was underrated, a bit like Adrian beforehand anyway. So if anything, he could be higher than 77. And then finally we have Reece Burke, who is actually centre-back. Now, last season he was at Bradford on loan, and he won 7 of their end-of-season awards, which in my eyes is pretty phenomenal. And he makes a few first-team appearances for West Ham. He played against Astra, which we lost, but we don't need to talk about that, okay? We then have Doniel Henry, the Canadian international. Now, last season he played one full game, and then he was on loan at Blackburn. Sadly, got injured. Season before he was on loan at Blackburn as well, made 3 appearances. He played in the youth, I want to say Youth Cup, which West Ham won, which is quite impressive. And I think he was quite good, actually. So I think he'll be trying to sort of play a bit, maybe in cup games this season. Then we got, obviously, big boy Reece, who is just, well, I think he's awesome. Giving him a 71, and I think that's pretty deserved. Again, if anything, it could be higher. Yeah, he didn't play the season before last because he was just a youth player. And then finally, Jimmy Collins. Now, I think he's going to stay about the same. Personally, I think he's really good. Really odd that he didn't make it into Euro 2016 squad for Wales. In my opinion, he's a lot better than James Chester, but there you go. Now, it's big-ass Winnie Reid. I'm just going to... I think he's about the same level as he was, but I'm just going to knock him down to non-rare. Then we got Angelo Ogbonna. Now, I'm going to upgrade him, but I'm going to take him only to a non-rare. Season before last, he played for Juventus, where he didn't not play games, but he didn't get as much game time, mainly because he had Barzali, Bonucci, and Chiellini. And then finally, we're going to have Sam Byram, who joined from Leeds last January, and yeah, I'm going to upgrade him to a 72, and now he's a right back because he was a right mid beforehand. Now we got Gus Poyet. We haven't got Gus Poyet. We've got Diego Poyet, who is Gus Poyet's son. Now I'm just going to upgrade him to a 68 rare. Now, slightly embarrassing for him. He went on loan to 2 clubs last season in the Championship. He went to Milton Keynes Dons and Charlton, of which both got relegated. Little bit embarrassing for him. So that's why he's not getting a huge upgrade. And then we got Cheku Koyate. Now, in my opinion, his passing's always been mysteriously low. I think he's a very good player. Bosses in midfield, upgrading him. And then Nordveit, never really watched the Bundesliga, I'm not going to lie to you. But he's got about the same stats as he did the season before last. So I'm keeping him the same level. I hope you agree with that. So on this screen, first we've got Pedro Obiang. Now I'm going to keep him about the same. He's used as a substitute mainly. He plays in cup games. He is good, but sadly not quite good enough to get into our best 11. And then we got big Mark Noble. Now this guy has to play for England. Some people have said he doesn't even make our best 11, but in my opinion, that's ridiculous. I think he's phenomenally good. So I've upgraded him massively from a 76 to an 80. And then finally, we got Mikel Antonio, hardest working player on the pitch. No, well, Big Mark has a good call there, but he works very hard. He was good against Astra, and again, sadly lost. We don't need to talk about. Now the 2014-15 stats, they're really OP, but that was mainly because he was playing for Forest. Well, not mainly, because obviously he did very well there, but that's why they're really good, and he's awesome. Now on to Gokhan Toure. My opinion, he has been awful, absolutely terrible for West Ham, but we'll let that slide, hopefully, and then he'll hopefully improve. His last season wasn't the best as it was before at Besiktas. He is only 23, so there is room for improvement, but he's only on loan. And then we got our new signing, Fernandez. He came from FC Sion, which is in the Swiss league. Now, he's got quite a big improvement. If you look at his stats, there's quite a big difference. So he's gone from a 66 to a 71. And then we got Manuel Lanzini. My predictions from last year were really wrong, but I think he could go up to an 80. Sadly, he's quite injury prone, but when he plays, he can be really good. He scored an awesome goal against Chelsea last season, if you remember that. So I think he could be getting a hefty upgrade to an 80. That might be pushing it a bit, though, and I accept that. Last screen of midfielders now. It's Payet, who, flip's sake, he's awesome. We're not great without him. I don't like to admit it, but he does make a huge difference. Picking him up from an 82 to an 84, if anything, I still think that could be underrated. Couldn't find his assists for the 2014-15 season, but I knew he got quite a few for Marseille, who was playing for then. If you didn't know, he's the main reason why Andre Ayew just decided to join us, because they're mates at Marseille. And then we've got Sofiane Feghouli, who sadly last season wasn't actually as good as others had been for him at Valencia. Now we come to the forwards. Now first we've got Ashley Fletcher. Now if I'm honest, I think I could have really underrated him because he seemed quite good against Astra. We don't need to talk about. So yeah, 67 could be a bit low for him. Last season he was at loan at Barnsley and played really well there. He scored 9 goals, as you can see. So I'm gonna put him at a 67, but that could go anything from a 67 to a 74. And then we got Enner Valencia, who I hate to admit it, I like the guy, but I just think he's terrible. So I've downgraded him. He could be lower than that, but I don't think EA would do that. As you can see, his stats, they're not. Last season he did score more goals, but he's just not good. His dribbling's taken a big knock as well. Then we got Sacco. Obviously his stats for last season weren't as good, or nearly as good as the season before, but I think he was underrated, so I think 75 is fair. Now he's a tricky one, because obviously in real life he doesn't want to play for West Ham, and he's wanted to move away. But without Carroll, I think he could be our best striker, so I think really he should stay. Now, next batch of strikers. First is Jonathan Caleri, who, I hate to admit it, but he was awful against Astra. He was, do you remember that header? But it was just a shoulder, and it was just, you sat there and you just thought, have we really signed this player? So he could be overrated. But he's played well for Sao Paulo and Boca Juniors, maybe, I think he might have played for. So hopefully he can be good, but what I've seen so far, really unimpressed. And then we got Andre Ayew, who's sadly injured, so again, another signing who hasn't paid off yet. But obviously he's only injured. He's quite a good signing, I think, or should be. Now, he might be playing as a striker. I reckon he will be, but he could play as a left mid as well, so we'll see about that. And then the final player, we've now reached him, Big Andy Carroll. Carroll, please. I'm joking. I think if he plays well, no one can deny this. He is obviously the best header in the world, and he's just phenomenal. But that's when he's playing well. If he's not, well, even when he's not, I still think he's affected. So I'm going to put him up from a 78 to an 80, and I hope you agree. So now we're going to spruce the video up a bit, and we're going to have a loan watch. The only first team player away on loan is really Samuelson, maybe Stephen Hendry, who's a left back. But Martin Samuelson, he'll be on loan at Blackburn, and he's someone to look out for. Sadly, he sort of was really good and then not so good at Peterborough last season. But from what he can do, he can be very good. So a potential transfer, this may or may not have gone through by the time this video is uploaded. Zaza, the penalty king. Yeah, that was rather embarrassing, wasn't it? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a horrendous miss in the Euros for Italy in a penalty shootout against Germany. Now, he might join from Juventus. He was all right at Juventus last season, but not. He didn't score. He only scored 8 goals. He was really good at Sassuolo and Ascoli, and I don't know if I'm saying this wrong, Viareggio. So he can be known to be very potent and really good. personally, I find it sad if that's the striker we sign after being linked with Batshuayi, Lacazette and Baka. But, you know, hopefully he's good or we don't buy him. So then this is just the player pool potentially for 2016-17. Just gaze your eyes over that. Pause the screen if you really want to. So there you are, guys. Sorry it's a very long video. I didn't mean it to be this long. But I hope you've, you know, enjoyed it. These are just, as I say, potential ratings. They're not official. I don't mean to upset anyone. Sorry if I have. If you disagree, just say in the comments. Because I may be wrong. I'm not going to say I'm not. I don't think I'm the best here. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And hopefully I'll see you soon. I'm going to hopefully go ham on FIFA 17 content. Yeah, so that's my plan. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And drop a like on the video. That's very much appreciated. Sorry, I can't speak. That's very much appreciated. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.